Well, good evening, everyone, and what a wonderful evening it is to be out on the bank. I've come down to the same lake that I was at for my last couple of trips. I'm sorry if that's getting a bit samey, but this is the one that I've got my best chance on my club ticket of bagging a 20-pounder on, and I just can't pass up that opportunity at the moment, especially with the weather being so great. If anything, it's a little bit too hot and sunny, but I'm here for an overnighter, which makes a nice change. So I feel like I've got a better chance of getting amongst the fish when the sun starts to set. So it's just coming up to 6 p.m. now. I've pitched up in a swim right down the other end of the lake from where you would have last seen me. And that's because that end of the lake is absolutely chocked full of anglers. Obviously, good weather brings out the anglers, and why not? And that end of the lake is getting a lot of angling pressure. Fish are coming out, sure, and I've not really seen hide nor hair of a fish down this end, but it has got me away from the crowd, and that's something which I value quite a lot when I come fishing as well. So, hey, there's always a chance. If I can get a bait in the water, then there's a chance. There's a couple of likely looking areas out in front of me. One is off the edge of an island on my left hand side, and one is out towards some pads, almost straight out in front of me, but slightly to the right. It's probably a bit further than I normally would like to cast, but hey, I'll give it a go and see how I get on. To start with, I'm going to have a feel around near the island with just a bare lead, which is going to be my PVA bag rod. Couple of casts, check that it's clear or clear enough, and then that's where I want to be putting a PVA bag, because one thing I don't want to be doing is pulsing out loads of boilies there, because there are ducks everywhere down this end of the lake. I think I had some problems with them before down this end as well. So hey, let's find out where I'm going to be casting these rigs to, and then we'll get them clipped up and sail them out into the lake and keep everything crossed for a big one. All right, guys. Well, on the bait side, nothing revolutionary here. As I say, I'm only here for a quick overnight session, and I want to use tactics which have worked for me in the past. So that's going to be a good old mixing bucket. I'm going to lob in some mixed krill and nutty flavoured boilie, and I'm going to slosh over the top of that a generous helping of the cloudy krill liquid here from Sticky. It's expensive, but it does really stink, and it does really leave a cloud in the water, in my experience. And for what it's worth, I think that kind of has worked for me in the past. So I'm going to drizzle a bit of this over the top. And then with my second rod, which I'm going to be casting roughly midway across the lake to where I felt a firmish spot with seemingly not too many snags around in terms of weed and that kind of thing. It's almost straight out in front of me, slightly off to the right hand side. I know from the feel of the lead down which is something I'm getting better at. I still haven't got it right, no way, but getting better at. And my estimation was it's deeper water there, so hopefully if I fire out some buoys after my cast to where my rig is going to be positioned, I might be able to avoid the ducks diving down on them if it's just too deep for them, if that's right. So let's hope so. For these rigs, I'm using my snowman rigs. As you can see, I've threaded a nice PVA stick down the hook link to basically protect the hook and avoid the hook bait tangling around the hook, or the hook linking anyway. So hopefully this is going to work for me. Last time the mixture that I was using in the PVA stick wasn't quite right. It was a little bit too granular, two larger pieces in there, and actually on one occasion I reeled in and I'd fouled the hook on a piece of crushed boilie, so that rig was never going to work. So really small bits in this one. It's mainly powder and tiny pellets, which aren't gonna be nicked onto the hook because they're just too solid, too firm. So let's hope that this brings me a little bit more luck than the last one did. Only time will tell. Well, I've actually managed to get some bait in the water, and so far that's worked out. I'm not going to tempt fate by saying anything about avoiding the attentions of the bird life and so forth, but let's just say it's worked out. The rods, the second rod took a couple of casts to get right. The thing with using those little PVA mesh bags is if you mess a cast up, you've wasted a bag, haven't you? But I suppose, c'est la vie, that's fishing. I've got baits where I want them now. Second time round, the cast on that second rod was good, I feel. PVA bag by the island, good old snowman rig out in front, and some bait over the top. I've had one or two beeps on my right hand rod, on the right hand alarm, but what that might be is anybody's guess. I mean, it's only been out there 5 minutes or something like that. So I've invested a bit of bait in the area, but not masses, a few pouchfuls at the most. So I am prepared to move if it looks like I should, because as I said, I haven't seen a lot of activity down this end of the lake. Those couple of bleeps on my bite alarm on the right hand rod are certainly encouraging. But for now, I'm going to keep my stuff on the barrow. I'm going to enjoy one of these. I'm going to kick back and watch the lake. Right then guys, well, barring a last minute change of heart, I've had a move I've come back up the other end of the lake, not right in the lilies where I perhaps want to be, as there are still a couple of anglers on the other side of the lake and I don't want to interfere with their fishing. So I'm slightly to the left of where I'd really want to be, but I'm much, much closer to where the fish actually seem to be. I've seen one or two fish jump, I've seen a swirl, and I know I'm not far away from the fish. They're not in my swim, but maybe I can lure them in with some bait overnight. So I'm aiming my casts right out to the lilies, which are just off of the far bank, and I'm going to bait up over the top with some boilies in that krill liquid. And because it's not going to be daylight for too much longer, I better see if I can squeeze the bivvy into that gap behind me. Well guys, it's just coming up to 8:30 and it's really exciting because the fish have just started to wake up. Literally in the space of about the last 5 minutes I must have seen 4 shows from fish just crashing out, one of whom was just by my PVA bag rig, my solid bag rig. So I've got a feeling, I've got a hope I should say, that that one will go, but only time will tell. I'm not going to mess around with the rods anymore. I've recast both rods, stuck a bit more bait over the top, and just hoping that I've done enough to nick me a bite overnight. Let's wait and see and keep everything crossed. Well guys, it took some time. It's 9 o'clock now and the PVA bag rod has just absolutely melted off. And my prize is this very chunky and very angry 10.5 pound common. What about that then? Absolutely brilliant. So pleased I made the effort to come out and fish for the night. And it's early days yet. You never know, I might even catch another one or two. Hopefully an even bigger one, but at 10.5 pounds, this is one muscle-packed common. Absolutely delighted to have caught it. Just getting dark now, so I'm going to slip this fish back where she belongs, see if I can't catch another one. Absolutely brilliant. Hey, I think you might have just caught the beginning of a blistering take on the same PVA bag rod. Just as I was slipping back that first fish of 10.5 pounds, I did manage to land the second fish. It was another common, bit smaller this time. I'd say about 8 pounds this fish, and frankly, it was just too dark to get any decent footage. I only used my phone for filming, and it's not good in low light for video work. So I managed to get a couple of still shots though, and I'll put one of the still shots in this video so that you can see what that fish looked like. A right raggedy old dorsal fin on it, that's for sure. But that one's been safely slipped back into the pond. And I've had a recast of, well, obviously the PVA bag rod because I had to get that back out there. And I've recast the other rod as well, ready for the night ahead. Brilliant to have caught 2 fish. I'm absolutely chuffed to bits to be off the mark. And let's just hope I can catch another one, and all being well, a much bigger one in the night. That'd be brilliant. If I catch something decent, obviously I'll be back on the video to tell you all about it. Anyway, sweet dreams and wish me luck. Well, good morning everyone, and it was a quiet night really. A few bleeps here and there on the bite alarms, but it wasn't until just before light that this fish in the retaining sling behind me slipped up, and it's definitely the biggest one of the trip. I haven't weighed her yet, but yeah, just been resting her in the retaining sling for probably about the last 40 minutes until we got a decent amount of light so that I could do a little bit of filming and photography before I slip her back into the lake. But let's get her out and have a look. 14.5 pounds. Brilliant. Well guys, There she is, 14.5 pounds of beautiful, pristine common carp, really dark in colour, absolutely made up with this one. So pleased I spent the night on the bank. Catching fish like this makes it all worthwhile. What a beauty, absolutely made up. Big belly on it, this one, incredible colours. Really, really pleased. Might even be time for another one yet, so let's get this one back in the water where she belongs. Absolute magic. Well guys, it's 6:30 in the morning and this is my fourth fish of the session, all four on the solid PVA bag rig. Devastating method on this lake, it seems. Certainly has done me well, and this fish is just a fraction under 11 pounds, and it's a mirror, so really nice to get a mirror carp. Lovely sort of linear scale pattern down the middle of this one. Lovely, lovely fish. Really, really pleased to catch it. I was a bit mesmerised by the scales actually. A beautiful scale pattern on this one. I'll turn it around so you can see the other side that I'm looking at, but I'm really, really chuffed. It's been a brilliant session. This might be the last one, but you never know. If I can, if the fish will let me, let me show you your other side. Got a little bit of old scale damage there that seems to be healing or have healed. You can see it's quite red around that one scale. Nevertheless, amazing creature. Over the moon. Brilliant way to start the day. Let's slip this one back where she belongs. Excellent. Well guys, as the crumbs suggest, I've just finished my breakfast. Lovely bacon sandwich. A great way to start the day, especially after catching that fish. I've got a feeling that the early morning bite time might have been and gone. I need to go as well because I haven't got much time left. I reckon I've got probably about another half hour before I have to start packing everything away. So with that in mind, I'm going to call this my sign off. If I catch another one, of course, I'll film it and I'll show you guys. But in the next half hour, it's not looking too likely. But hey, who knows? Anyway, if you have watched all of this, thanks so much for watching. If you subscribe, thanks so much for subscribing too. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I'm not trying to get anything out of this. I'm not trying to achieve anything per se. I just like documenting my fishing trips and I like sharing it with you guys. And thanks so much for all your kind comments. I really do appreciate them. For those who have been asking, and there have been a few, I have now finally set up an Instagram account. So it's lowercase Adam_S_fishing. That nearly had me out of my seat. Solid PVA bag rod again. I think it was just a liner this time though. Anyway, yeah, Adam_S_fishing. So it's like Adam's fishing really. And I'm now on Insta, I guess. I haven't actually uploaded any pictures yet, but I'll put a couple on from this session, and that'll be the start of things to come, hopefully. Anyway, it's my time to get packed up. So thanks so much for bearing with me. Really chuffed to have caught those 4 fish, and let's hope I'm back on the bank again soon and can do it again. Thanks very much.